Meow, Huples cat. Welcome to another episode of As the World Burns. As part of the culture walk, there's all of these little things going up all over the neighbourhood. Kind of fun. At night, this lights up. That's a lovely old house. Really nice. This is called the Rat Reader. So it's going to be about 30 centigrade today, and it's already stiflingly hot. It's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So this is the Sunday of a long weekend in Quebec. As you can see, the streets are pretty much deserted, and the air quality hit 10 of a 10-point scale about an hour and a half ago. It'll probably go higher. At the worst of it was 14 out of 10, but we just report 10 in Canada because we're Canadian. So I'm wearing an N95 not to look super cool, but because if you don't wear it, it's really unpleasant to be outside. That's why there's nobody outside, even though it's a Sunday afternoon, and it's a warm day. As you can see, there's visible smoke in the air, and you can smell smoke, but that's not what the issue is. When you're actually outside and you start to exercise, even gentle exercise, and I'm really keeping the pace down today, without an N95, you very rapidly become short of breath, which is uncomfortable, and it's affecting everybody. It's not just the elderly or the disabled or the very young, and unlike us, the animals and birds have to be out in it. To be honest, it's quite eerie to be in a very popular bike path like this. This is right by the Booth Street Bridge, and not see anybody. I saw one bike coming out as I entered. It's quite frightening. The other thing you have to consider, apart from having a good supply of N95s and maybe smoke goggles, because my eyes are getting a bit sore at this point, is you want to think about power. If you're on the mains, you're going to have power outages. We had one last night during the night because of air conditioning. And if you're on solar, smoke really cuts down your power. Of course, the climate denialists, because they're absolutely insane, would point out that Delhi in India experiences worse pollution than this on a much more regular basis. And that is in fact true. What I would say, Delhi should aspire to be like Ottawa. Ottawa should not be aspiring to be like Delhi. We have a friend visiting, and unfortunately she's picked some bad days for this, though they claim it will be better tomorrow. I guess that's relative. We've been air quality of 3 to 5 pretty much consistently since we arrived, and the smoke started after the first week. And it's definitely going to cause health issues for us in the long run. We're only really wearing N95s outdoors, but PM 2.5 is the actual stuff that does a lot of damage to you. And in a house like we're in, the Airbnb, you're actually getting a pretty much outdoor levels of PM 2.5. The reason they tell you to stay indoors is quite simply, exercise makes it worse. So if you tell people to stay indoors, and most people without masks are going to stay indoors anyway, they're going to have less health effects, but they're still going to have noticeable health effects. But walking up an uphill, slowly and talking, is making me short of breath, and it's not the mask, it's the air quality. We're poisoning our air, this time by fire. But the people that say this can't go on are quite right. We have to do massive things to fix this, or it's just going to get worse. No surprise, I think it's just going to get worse. Well, I got back, got a couple of hours, and then I get to head out again, this time walking over the bridge to go to Bywood Market and go to a vegan restaurant called Pure. Meet up with Kitty and a friend. I'll take some shots from the bridge. Unfortunately, because I'm not shooting at the crack of dawn or at dusk, and I'm not messing around with the photography, you're not seeing the vivid bright orange stuff. That's kind of one of those things you get at very specific times of the day. But it is a little yellow, and it's quite unpleasant out there, like a sauna. Swimming pool shut to keep people indoors. There are a few people out and about, but for a Sunday afternoon it's pretty empty. There you go, alright. The guy's got a cloth mask on and he was trying to cycle and he's given up. It really does take a ton out of you trying to move around in this type of weather. Sunday afternoon, I'm on the Alexandra Bridge. Usually it's just jammed on weekends, and this is a long weekend and the weather is nice. And it's a great place to take tourist photographs of the Parliament and the Chateau Laurier. Beautiful, eh? That's the Museum of History, and there are a few people out and about, mostly because of that wedding over there. Tiki boat. Nearly halfway out, and Parliament's still a blur. The empty electric water taxi, costing business a lot of money. So I've crossed the Alexandra Bridge and I'm on the Ottawa side. I'm about 200 metres away from the House of Parliament. Well, maybe 300 metres. see there's like nobody around. There's the art gallery, about 100 meters from that, maybe less. It has one of the few actually working public water fountains. I have 3 litres of water on me. Let's have a look in the park. Like I say, there's usually several hundred or more people in here on a Sunday afternoon. Of course, there are a few out. Nice place to camp. So literally just across the Rideau Canal from Parliament, and you can see the haze is very obvious. And yes, there are people in the park, but there's hardly any. I'd say about 5% of what you would expect. Brave souls, because people are trying to wear masks. I know mine's not on right now, but the cloth masks and surgical masks aren't really helping you in this kind of condition. If you remember the C19 issue, which is still going on, a surgical mask, cloth mask, t-shirt, better than nothing, and that was true. In the conditions of forest fire, smoke, it's not true. You're really better off having an N95. A surgical mask and a cloth mask, if really tight, will partially help. So you really have to have fitted N95s. We're going to Bytown Market now. This is of course a tourist trap. Kitty kind of likes wandering around. It's on the way to the restaurant. But this is where I'm going to eat. Where are we, Kitty?
We're on the water taxi. Heading to the other province.
Look at that yellow sun.
I know, eh?
Excuse me, you go one way or you want to?
Yeah, just one way.
Yeah. You can circle around a few times.
Tourists. Hello, smile. Don't Google the safety record. So at this point, I'll say toodles. This has been a 2023 very sedated terrier production.